you tell people come to Paris, they're gonna be like, oh wow, that's really cool. What they don't know is that all around this city are the projects. Le périphérique in Paris, you have the downtown and then you have a road coming all around that is called the périphérique. That's the limit to say, okay, this is Paris, this is the suburbs. And this is where they actually park black people. It's quite intense, and it's that way in every single city in France. They're gonna put all the rich people downtown and push all the people of color, black people, all around in the suburbs. Some people live like 10 people in 2-room apartment. They just put a lot of people together, and obviously those people don't have resources. So when you don't have resources, violence happens and drug traffic and all kinds of stuff. If you as a black person, you want to actually rent an apartment in downtown Paris, I'm gonna go to an agent or something. I went there and my mom asked for an apartment downtown, and the lady looked at her like, are you serious? Where are you gonna find the money to pay for that? And you're like, what? Is it because I'm black? She was like, well, you need to look in that neighborhood, that neighborhood, that neighborhood, being all housing projects neighborhoods. 2014 in France, in the country of the human rights, as I always say, it's kind of ridiculous. I think here in France, solidarity between black people has been a lot tarnished because of white supremacy, and like the UK really. You have people coming from the Caribbean and people coming from African countries. France gave a lot of privileges to West Indians and told them to turn against Africans. So now there's this sense that we're like the good Negroes and Africans are not. After the war, they made us come here. We had a program called CARICOM, I think, with us, like coming from the West Indies, we had the right to live here, have an apartment, send our children to school. And so we had the time to assimilate, you know, to make sure we understood what French culture was. We had the time to do that. You know, something that African people have not been granted at all. And we live in French territories, so white French people love to do that shit. Bring both people against each other. And I guess this is why the reparation debate that was there failed, because as a people, we're not you don't have this sense of unity of black people, just like in America, for example. In America, you will feel this sense of unity because you went through the same struggle. And here, hasn't been the same at all. It's a very different culture, very different history. Even if there are a lot of similarities, they told us, okay, anything that comes from the West Indians is bullshit because it's not, you know, authentic. You don't have a real culture and it's not a rich culture. And then you were told that anything that comes from Africa is bullshit. Like, it's savage, it's very, you know, raw and not very, you know, European. It's very, very difficult here. Deep, man. At first, when you see them, it's like, wow, oh my god, he's so well spoken and enlightened. Oh my god, he reads bell hooks. It's amazing. It blows you away because all those basic fuckboys usually don't. But he just does that to really get pussy. It is pretty amazing because they're very manipulative. They're gonna try to work on your sensitive points, like, you know, you suffer from misogyny, well then I'm not that. Or in front of people, they're gonna say, okay, you know what, my girlfriend is free to do whatever she wants to do, and then behind doors it's, oh, you're not going out tonight. Why? Because I said so. And they're literally wolves in sheep clothing. It has become to a point where I would rather talk to a guy that tells me that he doesn't know about feminism than a guy who has been reading Toni Morrison and pretend to know everything about it and be a fuckboy behind doors and hide this behind, oh, you know, I only want the best for you, my queen. Goodbye. 50 guys are dangerous as fuck. Like, run for your life. They are dangerous because they're gonna put you through so much bullshit and even put your life at risk. And they're still gonna think it's gonna be okay. They're gonna cheat on you, fuck women raw, come back to your bed, give you shit, and then they're gonna be like, no, I love you. What? How does that happen? They are putting your life at risk. You can't really tell when men are abusive. Don't walk around saying I'm a fuckboy. As people don't really understand that abusive guys, fake deep guys, it doesn't show. And that's why I'm always very wary of men in general. And I don't think this is something that young women has to suffer. Women always go through that shit. It's not just young girls, unfortunately all girls. Microaggressions here are white people don't really like when you're confident. As a black woman, when you walk with your head up and you look at people in the eyes, they don't like it. Like, they want to crush you and they want to push you. They are so persistent that sometimes you don't even see them until somebody else comes up and say, okay, this is unacceptable. They really do try. Like, when they see you're doing well, it's upsetting after a while, but I think you, just like every black person in the world, you just get accustomed to it. It's normal when it isn't. Being a black woman studying beauty and aesthetics is difficult. I am the only black girl in my school. I remember when they first started to teach us about colors to put on our face, and certain colors wouldn't go well on my skin. Look at me like looking at a clown and be like, you know, this is problematic. Like, out of all the countries, once again, France is so diverse. We guys colonized so many countries in West Africa, in the West Indies, wherever. Like, how are you not gonna have a class about people of color? I remember raising my hand in class one day, being frustrated, being like, okay, so you use a green corrector for white people, what do you use on my skin? Because white corrector is gonna be green on my skin. And my teacher was like, oh well, I don't really know. How are you as a beauty teacher? Like, how don't you know? And I remember one day I was so mad and upset because I had to pay for my own foundation, powder, all of that stuff by myself because my school didn't have the right color for my skin. And I was crying in the corridor and my teacher saw me and she was like, what's wrong? And I had to tell her like how difficult it was for me to adjust to the fact that I was born in this country and I can't find shit for my skin. Like, I go to a beauty school that I pay a lot of money for and I can't get an education on how to apply makeup on people of my own color. And ever since, we have a class about makeup on black people, makeup on Asian women, which I'm pretty proud about because, you know, black women spend 20 times more money on cosmetics than white women, and you still can't find anything for our skins. Doesn't make any sense, not even on an economical kind of, like, doesn't make sense. I suffer backlash from expressing my own sexuality all the time. People don't really understand is that I am a sexual being, yes. I am not a sexual being with anybody. Like, you have your own sexuality, yes, and you express it, yes, but not with everybody. Yes, I do talk about a lot of things openly. That doesn't give you the right to actually cross lines with me or being disrespectful. And this is something men nowadays don't really understand. Black women, I understand that people think, okay, we're already hypersexualized. That doesn't give you the right to touch me or to talk, like to yell stuff at me. There's this very bizarre thinking that we should be very prude and very, you know, we should carry ourselves in a certain way. Behind doors, we must be freaks and we must subject perfectly and we must do this and do that and throw it back and whatever. But forbid that you actually talk about that. You should be sexual, but not too sexual. Or that shouldn't be for your own pleasure or only for other people. That is objectification. But me, I grew up being extremely religious, which always surprises people because I am really sexually open. Growing up with that, yes, I did have the stigma of being a virgin until marriage. Religion really does oppresses women, like sexually. You're taught that your value as a woman only happens whether or not you actually sleep with people. This is such a tiny part of who I am. Religion really is such a barrier even in your family life. Like you can't talk to your parents about anything because of religion, or you're gonna put your life at risk because of religion and just not being happy because of that. And that's something I understood quite late. I'm not religious anymore. This is something we need to talk about, like transitioning from being really religious and not going anywhere or not doing anything to being such an open, comfortable person was so harsh. Like you're putting people in little boxes that they don't really fit in. That's how I felt being at church. But you know, you have a brain of your own. Like God made you the way you are because He wanted you to be the way you are, and that's it. There's no other explanation to that, really. White French people love to do that shit. Bring both people against each other. As a black woman, when you walk with your head up and you look at people in the eyes, they don't like it.